If you've ever looked at a competitor who is worse than you and charges more, this video is for you. I mean it. That's the whole video. Because I've been sitting with business owners for 8 years now, and this is the thing that makes them angriest. Not losing to someone worse. So let me tell you about 2 hotels. Same beach. 10 minutes apart. The first one is newer, renovated a few years ago. Better rooms, better reviews, and it's actually closer to the water. It charges €180 a night. The second one is older, further from everything, harder to get to. Charges €540 a night, and it's booked out 3 months ahead. Now, I'm not going to name these 2. I've worked on situations exactly like this, and that's not mine to talk about publicly. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Because this isn't one story. I've watched this same shape play out in Egypt, in Greece, in Spain. Different countries, different price points, same exact situation. So think of these 2 as every version of it at once. Because the owner of the cheaper one always says the same thing to me. Usually not in a nice way. We're better than them. Anyone who stays at both would tell you we're better. So why are they getting paid for it? And for a long time, I gave the answer everybody gives. Marketing, positioning, branding, better photography. I don't think that's actually the problem. I've spent 8 years working with hotels, tour operators, travel companies. That's where I've watched this most closely. But if you sell anything people can't try before they buy, a service, consulting, a clinic, an agency, this is about you too. Exactly the same mechanism, just less obvious. Okay, so let's do this properly. Let's kill the easy answers first. Location? No. The cheaper hotel has the better location. Closer to the sea, closer to the town. The rooms? No. Newer, bigger, better maintained. Reviews? This is the one that gets people. The cheaper hotel scores higher. Marketing spend? The cheaper one spends more. Significantly more. Brand name? Neither is a chain, neither is famous. Nobody outside that coastline has heard of either of them. So everything we normally point at is either equal or in favor of the hotel charging a third of the price. And this is where it gets interesting, because there is one signal both of these hotels are sending. The customer reads it before they read a single word of description, before the photographs even. And it decides everything. I'll come back to it. First, I want you to actually do the thing your customer does. Because I think most owners have never once watched it happen. Somebody is booking a trip. It's a Tuesday night. They're tired. They open a booking site, type in the town, and get 41 results. They are not going to read 41 hotels. Nobody in history has read 41 hotels. So what actually happens is this. They scroll. Fast. Maybe 8 seconds. And they're not reading, they're eliminating. Then a photograph stops them. And they open 2. Maybe 3? Now, watch this part. They don't compare the rooms. They don't compare the amenities. They glance at the price. They scroll straight down to the reviews. They read 4 of them, maybe 5, and they specifically look for the bad ones. Because they're not trying to find out how good it is. They're trying to find out what could go wrong. 40 seconds, maybe a minute. And in that minute, they have never once themselves which of these hotels is better. That question isn't available to them. They've never been to either one. So here's what they're actually asking. Not which of these is better, but which of these am I more sure about? Completely different question, completely different answer. Think about what that means. When a customer can't verify what they're buying and in travel they never can, you can't test drive a holiday evaluating the product. So they evaluate the thing they can judge. How much doubt are you asking me to carry? And that gets answered by signals. And the loudest signal, the one I said I'd come back to, is your price. Because price is not the conclusion your customer reaches after they've judged you. Price is one of the things they use to judge you. And I don't mean that as a nice theory. This has actually been measured. Twice. In the same year. 2008, researchers at Caltech and Stanford put people inside a brain scanner and gave them wine to taste. They told them what each wine cost, some expensive, some cheap. Except they were lying. Some of those wines were the same wine, served twice. at 2 different prices. And people didn't just say the expensive one tasted better. The part of the brain that registers pleasure, it was measurably more active when they believed it cost more. Same wine, same mouth, different price, different experience. They weren't lying, they weren't stupid. The price changed what they actually felt. And there's a second study, published the same year, in the Journal of the American Medical Association. 82 people were given a pill, described as a new painkiller. Then they were given electric shocks and asked how much it hurt. The pill was a placebo. All of them. Sugar. Half the group were told it cost $2.50 a dose. The other half were told it had been marked down to 10 cents. In the full-price group, 85% reported less pain. In the discounted group, 61%, same sugar pill. The discount made it work less. So when you cut your price to compete, I need you to understand what you're actually doing. You're not making yourself more attractive. You're lowering the quality of the experience your customer is about to have before they've even had it. The cheap hotel thinks it's saying good value. What the customer hears is, this one is a lesser property and they've taken money off to compensate me for the risk I'm taking. They didn't remove the risk. They discounted it. That's not the same thing. That's an admission. And the expensive hotel? This is the part I find fascinating. It isn't selling a better room. It's selling the removal of doubt. Look at what it does. It doesn't list 40 amenities. It lists 6. It doesn't discount, ever. Not even in low season. It answers your email in a specific voice, with a specific name attached to it. The photographs are restrained. There are fewer of them, and none of them are trying to convince you of anything. Every single one of those is doing job, making the outcome predictable before you arrive. And this is not a hotel thing. The clinic with the better surgeon and the worse waiting room, same mechanism. You cannot evaluate the surgeon. You can evaluate the waiting room. The agency listing 32 services on its homepage, competing against the one that lists 4. Same mechanism. 32 services doesn't read as capable. It reads as unsure. So, back to the beach. Why does the better hotel charge less? Because being better and being believable are 2 different products, and only one of them is priced. The cheaper hotel is better. It's just harder to be certain about. And the customer? On a Tuesday night, 41 tabs open, no way to verify anything, will always choose the one they're more sure about. Always. Okay. So here's the uncomfortable part. Think about where your money went last year. I'd guess almost all of it went into being better. Renovation, product, training, hiring, fixing things. Now, how much of it went into being knowable? Into removing your customers' doubt before they ever speak to you? For most of the businesses I work with, that number is close to 0. And then they cut their price. Because they've decided the problem is that they're too expensive. You're not underpriced. You're unreadable. So I'll leave you with a question, and I'd actually like you to answer it in the comments, because I do read them. What's the one thing your customers are least certain about before they buy from you? Not what you're worst at, what they're least sure about. Those are different, and the gap between them is usually where the money is going. I'm Martina. This channel is about why people choose. If that's a question you think about too, I'll see you in the next one.